Okay, we are playing some Witcher Wild Hunt here. Not Witcher Wild Hunt, it's the Witcher Wild Hunt collab in Monster Hunter World. It is the special event contract, a walk in the woods, or trouble in the ancient forest. That's what it is. I can't read that text on the screen in my editor, but it's, yeah. So you get to play as Geralt of Rivia. You get to run around with his Witcher swords, which is a sword and shield weapon. You get to run around with his Igni sign, which is just a usable item like the whetstone. I'm going to be skipping over the majority of the intro stuff here because it's just, if you've done this, you've done it a couple times. You follow the main quest, talk to the researchers, find the botanist, find the Linean researcher. You do need to have progress with the Gajalaka. You need to have the Molotov cocktail. Main quest here, burn the revoltures and then immediately go to the camp at 1 because you want to pick up some life powders. You're going to need those later. Once you have picked up the life powders, you're going to fly to the camp at 8. And the reason you want to do this is because there is some progress you have to make in this side quest before you talk to the missing botanist, the Botanical Researcher. So the important thing to pick up there is the max potion and the life powder. Everything else is up to you. You'll come into this with whatever item loadout you had from your main hunter, but you're going to be using Witcher gear, and most of the stuff you pick up you don't take with you. So open your map, fly to 8. Drop down here, you're going to find that there's a couple of Pukei-Pukeis. If you did the main quest, you would have only seen the 2 Pukei-Pukeis that were trapped in roots. If you come here before you find the Botanical Researcher, there's actually a 3rd one back here, so you just burn him out. He'll be useful later. He is why you need the life powder, because if you don't keep this guy alive, you're not going to complete all of the side quests to get the title and the attack jewel. There's an attack jewel if you complete all of the side quests here. There's 2 side quests. There's the Pukei-Pukei and there's the Gajalaka. And I actually like both of these side missions. When you set him loose, he'll come back later. He'll help you in the final phase of fighting the Leshen. Once you've got him knocked out, you are safe to fly over to 11 so that you can continue looking for the Botanical Researcher. You have to follow his notebooks. It's what makes him spawn. You have to move the quest forward by basically following the trail, doing what a Witcher does. You can't skip ahead. Mildly annoying, but you know, it's true to how the Witcher games work. Stuff moves forward when you move the quests. So while you're advancing here, you want to make sure you pick up some extra blue mushrooms, and you want to keep your eyes open for god bugs. There are some god bugs up on Camp 12. You want blue mushrooms and god bugs, so when you use up all of your life powders, you can make a few more in the fight with the Leshen, because your Pukei-Pukei will probably take a beating. A couple other things to pick up are bright moss. You should pass more than a few packs of bright moss. You free the researcher the same way you free the Pukei-Pukei. And then once you've used up your bright moss, you want to keep your eye open for either red pit or scatternut. So once you free the researcher, go slightly to the east, pick up the Gajalaka Doodles to pick up the chief issue. This is the other side quest, and if you follow the trail to the east towards, what is this, 8 or 9, this is where the Pukei-Pukei rests. You turn immediately around, follow the roots up, and you'll talk to the Linean researcher. After you've done that, fly up to 12, and you'll find a group of Gajalaka. Their chief has gone missing, and they respect your strength after you best them in combat and decide to make you chief. Doesn't matter which dialogue option you take, either way, Geralt is going to decide that he's going to track down the chief. These guys are mildly annoying. They're not extremely strong, but if you've ever fought Gajalaka, even 2 or 3 of them are really annoying. This is a group of 6. So you're going to get knocked around a lot, but they're not really dangerous. They're not going to kill you. And thanks to your armor set, you're going to keep recovering health. So they're really not threatening so much as annoying. They're also really hard to hit. I forgot how hard these guys are to hit because they're so small, and their movement is basically like all the raptors in Monster Hunter. They kind of leap forward. They have a really narrow hitbox. You knock them out, you have a conversation, the Linean Researcher comes along and translates for you. They tell you to go find the Great Healer in the tree void, or the whatever. Open up your map, switch to endemic life, look for the Great Vigorwasp. They tell you that you can go down and talk to the handler, and she'll basically do the same thing. She'll tell you to look for the Great Vigorwasp in the middle of the tree. So just switch over to endemic life and save yourself some screen load time. While you're traveling, look for some flash flies, because the other really useful thing to pick up are flash pods. They're good against the Leshen and the seas of Jagras that he's going to spawn with him. If you hit these guys with the Bright Moss that you've picked up, they'll stand around and just look at you stupid. They're so easy to beat the crap out of, but you've got to hit them in the head with the Bright Moss. I think 2 or 3 shots on the Chief, and he'll just stand there for like 2 minutes and let you beat on him. He won't even be aware that you're there. It's better than a flash pod. But you've got to hit all of them. This guy knocks me around for a little bit. I'm not ashamed to admit that. He knocked me around. I was playing this fast and loose. My previous fight was just beautifully flawless, but mostly because he stood there and let me whack on him. See, that Gajalaka was doing what the Chief would do. He's just standing there because I hit him with the Bright Moss. Bright Moss is actually really useful. Not so much on large monsters, because I think you need to have 6 or 7 Bright Moss to the face to make them blind. Yeah, I sped this up because I spent like 10 or 12 minutes fighting this guy. What should be a 2 to 3 minute fight tops. I spent way too long because I kept missing my attacks. And once you've done that, you are free to continue the main story. Go to 12, not 12. Go to 4. No, it is 12. Yeah, it's 12. Go to zone 12 where you find the totem, and a group of like 12 or 14 Jagras are going to drop down on you. If you're out of pods, which I was, there's some water pods immediately right behind you. They'll be on your left once the cutscene's done playing. Grab the water pods, aim up because there's a boulder trap, and you can take out the majority of these Jagras just with the trap. So aim up, eat the hit, knock them down. That'll take most of them out, and then you'll only have to deal with 3 or 4 if you time it even remotely decently. And then from here on out, it's just fighting the Leshen, so I'm gonna let this go.
Well, how long you gonna make me wait? The Valiant's silent now. Seems they were controlled by magic. Leshen could hold sway over other beasts I run into. Need to be careful. Now, show yourself. We're vultures. Igni should do the trick.
Okay, so when you're fighting the Leshen, there's a couple things that make fighting him a lot easier. You want to use the Igni sign anytime he's surrounded by the roots, not when he's attacking where he actually builds the root wall. You can also use the Igni sign to disperse some of the birds. It makes it easier, and he'll flail around looking stupid. If you're using the sword and shield, using your leaping attack, where you do the jump back, charge up, and then when you hit him, it launches you in the air. The shield slam is really good for dealing damage to his horns. The sword attack is good for getting mounts. Mounts are great for keeping him from phasing from area to area. I fought him several times, and if you can mount him right before he's going to go to a new area, you can get a ton of bonus damage. Unlike most of the other large monsters, when you're on his head, the damage to make him stagger is monstrous. You can do the triple thrust if you attack him twice, and then let Geralt assume his resting pose and then do it again. So just smack, smack, wait, smack, smack. You can do that 4 or 5 times, and then you get the actual triple finish. You can do a significant amount of damage to him, and it'll deal a lot of knockout damage. When he's down, I've done this a couple of times. When he's down after doing that, typically the back step into the forward leap, when you come down with the shield after that, it'll actually knock him out. So it's a good way to get a ton of damage uptime on him. I haven't really fought the Leshen with any other weapon, but I love the sword and shield too much. Another thing that's useful with the Leshen is to pick up either red pits or scatternuts, because if you hit his horns, it'll make him teleport less. Flash pods are also really useful, but you want to save your flash pods for the final phase where he calls in a bunch of Jagras and you have to fight alongside your Pukei-Pukei. But flash pods can also keep him from phasing, and as far as I've been able to tell, there's no limit to how many times you can flash him. The flash time does get shorter and shorter, but it's good for keeping him from phasing. You can also keep him from phasing to the new area if your Igni sign is up and you burn him. It'll stop him from teleporting to the next area, because he's going to move, I think, 4 times.
Maybe I can use the slinger contraption.
Here in 6, probably the best thing you can do is take advantage of the scatter nuts that are around and use the terrain geography to get a bunch of sliding and jumping attacks on him. He's not going to move around too much in here because there's just nowhere for him to really go. You can deal a tremendous amount of damage here. See, hitting him in the head with your slinger will keep him from teleporting as much, and burning him with Igni will get rid of the birds.
Come on, come closer. Not about to let you get away that easy. More monsters. Its power to summon seems centered in certain body parts. Come on! Oh no, you don't. That all you got? Oh, come on! Damn. How you like that silver? It's waning. Looks like it's working. Their numbers are thinning. Come on, come closer. Damn. Come on. That all you got? Come on. Oh, come on! Time to end this.
Okay, final phase. This is where it gets stressful. Everything else has been just mildly annoying. You have to keep your Pukei-Pukei alive. The best way to do that is to keep him from spawning so many ads. So if you've got bomb pods from the earlier fight with him, use those to stun him, try to take out the Jagras before the Pukei-Pukei swoops in. That'll happen here in like 15-20 seconds. And then use your Igni to try and stun him. Take advantage of flash pods. I was due for a mount, which is going to happen here in a couple of seconds. Mounting is great because he can't summon his birds and he can't summon more Jagras while you're mounted on him. So Pukei-Pukei can clean up the couple of Jagras that are there and he can help you do some damage. And you can really just capitalize on the head smashes at the end.
Come on, come closer.
You're about to see Pukei take some hits. The Vine attacks are really dangerous. He's already a weakened Pukei, so he's not particularly high in health as it is. He's about the health of a Tail Raider, a little bit more than that. But this is why I had you pick up life powders earlier, because it's the only way you can heal the Pukei-Pukei. My normal gear set, I walk around with wide range level 5, so I could just chug potions, but you don't get to use your gear set. You have to use the Geralt gear set here. If you do a decent job, you can stun lock this guy, and he won't get a chance to summon a bunch of Tail Raiders. Or Jagras, same thing. He won't get to summon a bunch of Jagras, and he won't get to use his birds, and he won't really move around a lot. Dragon pods are great. I think every 4th or 5th dragon pod you hit him with, if he drops them for you, will stun. And the torch pods are basically worthless unless you can hit the ground and get him to path onto them. But if you shoot him with the torch pods, they're worthless. I had an earlier fight that I didn't record where I actually managed to mount him on a torch pod that was burning on the ground, so that did a bunch of damage to him in addition to the mounting damage, but that's a lot harder to do and it's really not worth the setup. So here you see me, I keep diverting to take out the Jagras, because if you get more than a couple Jagras, they're going to take the Pukei-Pukei down, and you need to have everything focused on you, because that damn thing is so weak. That's about all there is. Here to the end. There's the flash pod to keep him from summoning and throwing his birds around, and bada bing, bada boom. That's it. Collect your cash and prizes. And if you've done everything like I have, you're going to get a couple of extra cutscenes, as well as an attack jewel and the Wild Hunt title, which can show up on your guild card.
Should deliver them to the commission. Could be useful in their research.